Welcome to Mala Bead Meditations with Meg. I wanted to change it up today and go through some frequently asked questions that I've been receiving. I hope they're useful to you and provide you some answers. My first question is there a wrong way to use mala beads? The short answer is no. I prefer not to put limitations on a meditation practice. If it works for you, then absolutely it works for you. And there are a lot of sources that might say there's a certain way to hold mala bead necklaces and there's a right way and a wrong way. But that is specifically if you're trying to learn more about energy and connecting spirit and body energy through the mala bead necklace. In this practice, all I'm trying to do is using mala beads as my counter. My practice is simple and with no strings attached. There are little strings here, but my practice is just something that works for me. And I find mala beads are an extremely useful tool in my toolbox to actually get me to meditate every day. The next question is, what if I can't say the mantra out loud? Well, first of all, it's really ideal to say it out loud. You want to get the tones and the vibrations. You want to also hear it. You want to have the sounds in your mouth. You want to let the sounds sink into your head, and you'll really absorb the mantra a little deeper if you say it out loud. Another recommendation is if you can't speak it out loud in a normal voice, then if you do whisper it, coarse whisper like this, just you can say it quietly. But as long as you can feel the sounds in your mouth and hear it, it will be effective. I will say that I haven't had a lot of success doing it silently. And of course, I will never say no if that is the only way that you can actually find success for yourself and are able to do it is when everyone's asleep and you're laying in bed next to your partner, or you have roommates and you don't want to disturb them, then yes, do it silently. But in my experience, when I do it quietly, my brain starts to think on top of my mantra. I often get distracted or I get lost, and I find that by the end of the meditation, I'm sometimes confused if I even did it right. Even if I'm counting with my fingers and I'm doing it silently, it's just not as effective in my experience. You might have a different experience, but who am I to say if it really does or does not work for you? I just know for me, I think speaking it out loud, or at least at a good whisper, is going to be more effective. The third question is, what happens if I lose track of the bead or fall behind or skip ahead? Does it matter? So this happened to me a lot in the beginning when I was first starting to use mala beads. Sometimes I would say the mantra and then I would wonder, did I move the bead? Did I not? I'm sure you have had similar experiences, and it does take practice to believe your fingers and to know that you're actually in a pattern. And even if you lose track, just going to the next bead is going to be fine. With these mala beads, there's 108 beads. And are you going to have a good experience if you only get through 105 or if you accidentally do 110? It's going to be an exceptional experience because one, you're doing it, and two, that's a lot of repetitions. That's a lot of times repeating something positive and really reaffirming great things for yourself and for your life. If you fall behind or skip ahead, and if you don't have a necklace, all of it is fine, because it's really just the fact that you're doing it and that you're taking baby steps to learning how to do it better. And like I said, it took me a lot of experience. I would say a lot. It wasn't even that much experience. It just took me doing it more frequently, especially now with these videos, to know and recognize my pattern is the same every time. So even if I question if I've moved the bead, I actually have different confidence now that yes, I have, or no, I have not. Mostly, please, if you skip it or fall behind, don't let it bother you, and just find comfort that I'm going to guide you through my counting and we'll get to the end together. The next question is, what type of mala bead necklace do I use? Well, if you've looked online, I'm sure you've seen that there are mala bead necklaces of lots of sizes and shapes and colors. There's bracelets, but there's also necklaces. There's necklaces with colorful gems. There's all gems. You might even notice there's bone. And this one is a 6mm rosewood necklace from Bhutan. I received this necklace at a spiritual center in California. The things I want to point out about this necklace and why I like it is that it has 6mm beads. They'll have 6mm and 8mm beads. The 8mm is a little bit larger. I have small hands, and so the 6mm beads just fit comfortably in my hands. If you have larger hands, the 8mm might be more comfortable, and these might feel too small. The other thing about this necklace is that it's all wood. It's very lightweight. So I kind of forget if I'm wearing it, versus something that has gems or bone will feel heavier, and that's fine, but I don't really like a lot of weight around my neck or on my ears, so I do prefer the all wood. The other thing is that the anchor bead is a really distinct shape. It's obviously a different size and it's longer, it has some texture. It's also wood. When I get to the end, I don't have to open my eyes and know that I'm at the end. I can just feel the bead knowing that I'm at the end. So I find my meditation practice is a lot simpler with this necklace. Oh, and the last thing is just this really simple tassel. There's not things attached to it. It's super light. It doesn't make any noise. So my necklace is my favorite for all those reasons. Now, a few years ago, I did make my own necklace that's here, and I used some cords as the little tassel at the bottom, this simple bead as the anchor bead, and I used 6mm beads and this just slightly textured jade bead as the halfway point. You will see necklaces with these more ornamental components. I just put 2 simple beads here. You will see them where they count up. What those are doing is they help the person when they're meditating keep track. So if my eyes were closed and I got to this bead, I would know that I'm still at the beginning of my necklace, but I'm making progress. And then of course I would go through the whole necklace, and then I would know, oh, okay, the meditation's winding down. This is my counter bead, or my bead that's going to signify that the end is getting close. That's not good or bad, but I do personally like this necklace without the counter help, because I don't want my brain to start thinking about where I am in the necklace. I want to be focusing on the mantra. The last thing is I built this bead with elastic. So it's cool because it stretches, which helps if you want to pull it apart while you move the bead. So it stays tight together, but if I want to pull it apart, it's nice and helpful. I also didn't know what kind of cord to use because I didn't want it to break. So you use cotton cord, but there's so many different cotton cords at the store, and I just really wasn't comfortable making that decision. And then again, my tassel is just a simple, very plain brown with some color tassel, but it's mostly just another simple necklace that I do like, but I find I still prefer this one. The next question is, I have a long commute. Can I listen to a video while I drive? I think this is a really great question because there are a lot of things in life that prevent us from actually receiving and accomplishing our goals. If this is an obstacle for you, then by all means, please play it in the car. Keep your eyes open and drive, and just say it with me. Say the mantra out loud as you want, because you're alone in the car. If you have to wait to pick up your kids in a car line, or you just have a long drive to work every day, to and from, that's the best opportunity. You're giving yourself something that you need. Don't let driving be the obstacle. You can turn driving into an opportunity, and you can turn driving into a meditation session. My goal is to just have it be a practice that you enjoy and that works for you. And then eventually you don't know where it's going to go from there. It's just getting the habit started. The last question I have today is, my partner and I like to do meditations together. Can we do ours together, or is it best to do it alone? The very first time I ever did a Malavi meditation was with a group of people. I thought it was a really incredible, powerful experience. For one, I could still hear myself. So I didn't lose out on hearing other people. Like, sure, you can be distracted and hear people, but I also heard myself, and I could actually speak louder because there was other people, and I didn't have to like mute myself a little bit. Also, doing it with somebody else gives us another sense of comfort. So in that example, I had a guide doing it for the group. And so I was able to let go of fears that I was doing it wrong, or worries that I was not going to follow it correctly. And also the pacing. You know, you kind of need somebody sometimes to keep the pace, just so your brain doesn't have a chance to get into the middle of it and take over or distract you. I would recommend, if you want to do it with a partner, then you can do it with a partner. I don't think it's going to take away from the experience. In fact, it might actually bring you two closer together. I've also done these meditations in my bedroom with my kids, or in their bed at bedtime. We'll just pick a really fun, simple one, and then we'll do it together. We won't close our eyes. We'll just do it. And it's just something that bonds us, but also is a really beautiful practice to have. And it's also pretty relaxing. So they really will ask for it sometimes, especially if they're having a hard time going to sleep. I will say that doing it with a partner or in a group is also not going to take away from the practice. You will still feel nourished. You will still feel recharged. You will still feel accomplished. The meditation and the practice of saying positive things out loud will work regardless of the setting. And I hope that's the takeaway from today, that you are in control of your meditation practice. Don't let limitations get in the way and prevent you from reaching your goals. Thanks for sticking around and listening to these questions. I hope they've really helped you. If you have more questions, feel free to comment. I would love to see them and hopefully answer them at some point in the future. Also, if you like the video, please feel free to like it. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, you can do that as well. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.